and we hit accuracy. Yeah. Welcome, it's your friendly neighborhood Badger here, and I'm back for another video about my new build that I am playing. Now, this is not just a build idea, this is an actual build I'm investing probably a little bit too much currency in, because we finished up our Discharger build, we managed to sell a few pieces of gear to then gear up this new character. Now, disclaimer, before I start talking about this character, I do have a lot of money invested into this build and have some pretty nasty crafts, including this pretty darn crazy staff right here, which is over 1000 physical DPS on it right now, and it can be improved. We don't even have a good quality or crit strike chance roll on this right now either. But we are playing Glacial Hammer. Yes, that's right, Glacial Hammer is not a meme. Well, it kind of is, but we're making it not a meme now. So this is just going to be a little bit of a build showcase. I'll talk about the mechanics of the build. I can say right now that this build is already reaching 11 million DPS at the top end. Now, being Berserker, that's with full rage and when using Berserk. So as you're using Berserk, that rage will start to go down to around about 6 million once you finish Berserking there as well. Which, you know, is okay. So kind of average DPS of around about 8.5 million right now. I'm not going to go over all of the gear, but I can say that especially the gloves, boots, chest piece, helmet, and weapon, they're all quite expensive. You can probably expect the gear to be around about 150 to 200x. So don't expect that you're just going to be able to equip this gear, you know, equip a character with less gear and be able to do what I'm doing here. That being said, I will be making a build guide for this character in probably about a week's time, and that will mean that there will be a very budget version as well that will be able to accomplish certain things about this build. Now, I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to talk about Glacial Hammer itself. Now, Glacial Hammer is great. Now, I am only level 83 right here, so I have a lot to do on the tree. I don't even have my Merciless Labyrinth. Let's just have a look here. I don't even have my Blitz Charges. But we're still going to run this map and show you what is actually happening right here. Let's jump into this white tier 14 map just to show you. We do have additional striking nearby enemies with strike skills, so that applies to Glacial Hammer, and then also using some a Winter Burial right here to give us flash damage, and I'll talk about everything else on the tree, especially this Lethal Pride, right after we run this map, because you probably noticed my rage is 100% up, and will stay like that for most of the mapping experience. Alright, so we jump in, basically we're just leap slamming, and then we're hitting enemies around here. And you can see that the clear's not amazing, but if the more that you juice up the maps, the more that you get your pack size up, the better that this character does get. As you can see here, we pretty much just freeze everything, so that's actually a really, really good defensive layer on the character. Now, we're going to build up a little bit of rage here, and I'm going to show you some boss DPS in a moment, because already this character is a little bit crazy. Now, as I said, we do have around about 11 million DPS in half a building, but that is not calculating the special charges that you are seeing here. This, what is this? Brutal charge. So right before I go into the boss, I'm just going to talk about brutal charges. Brutal charges are gained from a belt called Arn's Anguish, which is a belt that is got from the Maven boss herself. It is a new belt that basically transfers your endurance charges and turns them into brutal charges. Per one brutal charge, you get 3% chance to deal triple damage and 10% increased stun threshold. Right now, we have 9 endurance charges on the build, but we can get up to 10 fairly easily. And you will be able to notice here that I've actually, I don't have my brutal charges here because I haven't generated any because I need to be able to crit to be able to generate some. Or I can use a weapon swap into Red Blade Banner, which gives Warcry's infinite power, and then actually use Enduring Cry to get up to, well, 8 because we get a +1 on our Eventuality Rod. So that's how we can just actually keep our charges up, and then we can go into the boss, and then we can show you the damage here. So right now, once I gain one more charge, if I can, it looks like my charges are going to run out before I crit, so let's just Enduring Cry again, and you can see there, let's just gain a couple more things here. Here's the boss, put everything down, and the boss is dead right there. So we got a little bit unlucky with a couple of non-crits and no triple damage there. You can imagine on a full crit build, using Ruthless, using Multi-Strike, and having a 30% chance to deal triple damage, which equates to around about a 66% more multiplier to our damage. We're getting some pretty insane DPS on this character. So that's basically what it looks like, using, Ancestral Warchief, Vile Ancestral Warchief as well. I probably should switch Protector here. And then we've also got a, Frostbite Curse on here, because we're converting 100% to cold damage right here. And that's honestly pretty much how the build looks. The last thing I will mention is how am I keeping my rage all the way at 100%, because that's where a lot of the damage comes from in Berserker. So first of all, we are using Chainbreaker, which is got by getting a Lethal Pride that gives however many numbers of warriors under Akoya. You need Akoya to be able to get Chainbreaker here. Chainbreaker says it regenerates 3 rage per second, and then increases and reductions to mana regeneration rate instead apply to rage regeneration rate. I do actually have a pretty nice ring here that has, endurance charge on it, but I did also manage to get tier 1 mana regeneration rate on this ring, which means that our regeneration of our rage is a lot better. Now, we do lose 5 rage when we hit an enemy, and no more than once every 0.3 seconds, but as we're mapping, we're hitting every now and then we're running around, so we usually regen all the way up to full. So against any boss, we're always going to have a full amount of Berserk for rage right there, and as you can see here, if I hit Berserk, it still takes quite a while for it to even start draining down here. Pretty insane. We've got about a 12 to 15 second uptime on Berserk before it all finishes right there, which is pretty crazy. So that's how Chainbreaker works. That's how we're basically abusing that node right there, and you can see the regeneration is already halfway up there. And then basically, as I said, Winter Burial. We do also have a Watcher's Eye somewhere. Where's my Watcher's Eye? My Watcher's Eye is up here. Nope, over here. Here we go. Just a crit chance by Hatred. We've then also got a Replica Conqueror's Efficiency, which gives us +5 max rage and -9 to total mana cost of non-channeling skills. It does mean that our Glacial Hammer only costs 4 mana, even with pretty much no mana right here, and with the small amount of mana regen I have, we can swing for as many times as we now, this build, all I will say is this is not the best way to get the most DPS out of a weapon like this and an Ascendancy like this. Obviously, something like Ice Crash is probably going to be much better, or even going full Fizz, and maybe even using Slayer with the Arn's Anguish is probably a really good idea too. We might even transition it into that once we've had fun with Glacial Hammer here. But honestly, I just wanted to play something pretty memey, but also destroy the endgame. So over the next few days, if you want to come join us over on twitch.tv/thisisbadger, you can definitely see this build in action. We're going to be starting to tackle the endgame today, level up to 90, and then start just mashing Maven and everything like that as well. But once again, keep in mind, there's a lot of currency in this build, so I'm not saying that this is an overpowered build. I'm saying that the items that I have on right now are overpowered. That being said, critical staffs are extremely underrated, and even a very cheap staff, if you're going critical strikes, can be really, really amazing, especially coupled with Arn's Anguish as well. So you should definitely check it out. I'm going to put the path of building down below. It is a work in progress, and the Arn's Anguish doesn't actually calculate in there yet. So just keep that in mind as well. But the rest of the build is functioning really, really well. I'm really excited to deal some pretty crazy damage. Yeah, I will see you guys soon in the next video or community update or anything like that. If you like this kind of video, you know what to do. That sub button down below. Better hit that one. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, Badger out.